I want to get the Ozzie Guillen conversation out of the way.
I mean, it's not really a conversation. You had to see it coming.
You felt he was going to get fired no matter what.
How could he not get fired? They finished last in the NL East after
Which
they
is
went
hard
out,
to do.
After they went out and spent a bunch of money, they got that. They brought in Reyes. They tried to improve the team because they want to fill the new building that they made. And what happens? But Ozzie just there's too much. He made too many comments.
The Castro thing killed him.
The Castro thing
just killed him. You do not say I love Fidel Castro.
Not in Miami where there's all sorts of defected Cubans everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they had to escape because the country was so terrible under that tyrannical leader.
Yeah, because of how they felt about Castro. That's why they're in Florida, and then you're going to come out
That's
and
why
say,
they're escaping, trying to get to a better place, and you're going to sit there and support the guy? You can't do that. He shot himself in the foot. He saw it coming. I saw it coming. Ozzie Guillen wasn't going to last there. Now, he may get another manager's job somewhere else. He may say, screw it, and just get a job as an announcer, too.
You never know. But
I'm sure
like
with
Fife just put in the chat room, he's going to make millions over the next 3 years and not have to do work at all. If Fife puts in the chat room, he was gone when he made that statement. And the saddest part to me about the whole thing is that this team brought him in to be the backbone of the Marlins. They wanted him to be that face. They wanted the connection with the Latin demographic that dominates Southern Florida.
Hence why they brought in Reyes, they brought in Guillen. They tried to cater to that market.
They wanted to give those people, that's sort of rude. They wanted to give Hispanic people a reason to go to the game, something more to root for than just a baseball team. Yeah, I didn't mean it like that, but it sounded like that. I know it did.
It's an Ozzie Guillen slip right there.
Yeah, it sort of. But you know what? I mean, the Castro thing's just stupid. You should know much, much better than that. But I was going through it, right? And I'm reading this stat, and I'm like, oh, the Marlins ranked 12th or lower in the NL in, like, every major category. And I'm like, oh, what's the big deal? There's 30 teams in baseball. And then I'm like, oh, they ranked the 12th or lower in the NL. So, wait, 15 teams total in the NL, they ranked 12th or lower, a.k.a. the bottom 3 or 4 teams in the entire National League in every category. That includes runs, batting average, OPS, or ERA, and strikeouts by pitchers. They go 69 and 93 for the year. It was their worst record since 1999 and their 4th worst all time. I mean, this team was everything they weren't supposed to be this year. They were expected to be competing for the NL East with Philadelphia and the Nationals and the Braves. They were meant to be up there while the Mets were the cellar dwellers. They were meant to be a team that could at least pull out a wild card spot in the playoffs. They were meant to be a team that for the next 4 or 5 years would be competitive every single day, every single year in and year out. And instead, half the guys they signed this offseason, they traded away or they let go. They let go of their manager that was meant to be the face of their franchise. Everything went wrong for them.
Really, though, shouldn't be the face of a franchise. He shoots himself in the foot too often. His mouth gets him in trouble too often. And not with necessarily predicting things about his team or giving up too much info on his team or even problems that he has with players. It's the fact that he says these things like the Castro statement and you only hurt yourself. He couldn't last there. And especially with the talent they had there this year with Giancarlo Stanton
Jose Reyes.
Reyes. They had Hanley Ramirez who, for some reason him and Guillen didn't get along, hence why Ramirez is gone now. They had guys there that could play. They had, Anibal Sanchez, who they traded, now is pitching in the World Series. They had guys who could play the game. Josh Johnson's no slouch. He could pitch. They got guys. Heath Bell was outstanding out in San Diego. Outstanding the last few years. They bring him in to be the closer, and it's just the team chemistry wasn't there. So they need to make a move. Now, that all being said, they're not going to go out and hire a guy like Bobby Valentine this time. They're going to go and probably get somebody maybe not as well known, but somebody that's got a strong structure, who's been around the league a long time. Try and bring him in to turn the ball club around. Who that's going to be, I'm not 100% sure yet.
Well, whoever it is, they'll be the 5th manager since 2010 for the Marlins, which is just atrocious. I mean, that's almost 2 managers a year. That really shouldn't happen. You'd really like to just have, you'd prefer to just have one steady manager since 2010, that's for sure. Joey D puts in our chat room that none trades yesterday in baseball. I don't know anything about trades in baseball yesterday. I didn't have a chance to
I didn't hear anything about that.
But I do have a interesting question that maybe we could use on our Sports Zone question of the day. Who gets a job first? Bobby V or Ozzie Guillen?
Ozzie Guillen.
Yeah.
Bobby V is done. Stick a fork in him. Who's hiring him? He's a cancer in the locker room. He's a cancer to your organization. Bobby V is out. Bobby V is going back behind a microphone or back in front of a camera. He is not going to manage, not in the major leagues. He may go back to Japan. He may pitch or coach for a minor league club if they somehow give him a big enough deal. But he will not be coaching in the majors again, as far as I can see. Who would hire him?
Oh, I don't know. I know I wouldn't want him as the manager of the Mets. I mean, I can say that much. But
you had him already.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't want to bring him back. Fife's putting in the chat room that he doesn't see anybody giving Ozzie a job before the season starts, but perhaps a struggling team mid-season, June, July, he could see maybe letting go of their manager and bringing in Ozzie Guillen.
Just my prediction, the way I see it, Ozzie doesn't manage at all next year.
No matter what.
No matter what, I think he probably takes a 1-year deal with an ESPN and becomes a color commentator or becomes some type of analyst for them. Sits this year out and then sees what opens up. He takes a year, he takes a step back. He's going to be making his money anyway.
Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about working.
So it's not like he's in a rush to get a new managerial job.
Yeah.
He's not. He's going to take... this is personally what I think, my opinion, guys. I think he takes this year off, does some commentating, and then after next season, maybe he starts looking for another role somewhere else. Or looking for another managerial position with the ball club.
Hey, you know what? I think Ozzie Guillen, no matter what he does, is going. I will say one thing. I think he ends up managing again, and he's going to be Ozzie Guillen. That simple. I don't think Ozzie Guillen's changing who he is. I think he knows not to say I love Fidel Castro anymore. But
you would think so, but he probably doesn't.
Yeah, right. I mean, but the simple fact of the matter is that the guy is who he is, and he always has been the same guy. And that's one thing you got to, respect about him. I don't respect him saying what he said, but he is who he is, and he won't change that for anybody, no amounts of money, nothing. And you got to respect that about him.